Good day to everybody. I am Attorney Shay De Guzman. I am your lecturer for Criminal Law Book 2. Okay. Our topic for today is Article 247 of the Revised Penal Code, otherwise known as death or physical injuries under exceptional circumstances. Again, Article 247 of the Revised Penal Code provides for death or physical injuries under exceptional circumstances. Okay. This provision of the law actually refers to the killing or wounding by one who surprised his spouse or his minor child in the act of sexual intercourse with another person. And having surprised the same, commits death, or injures the spouse or the minor child and the seducer. Okay. This provision of the law does not actually define a crime. Okay. It provides for a defense, a privilege granted to the accused. Okay. Remember, during our criminal law 1 discussions and criminal law 2 introduction, I have told you that when we speak of Criminal Law Book 1, we actually refer to provisions providing for the general principles of criminal law. When we speak of Book 2, these are provisions which provides for crimes, which defines crimes and provides for their punishments. Tama? Okay. This Article 247 is under Book 2 of the Revised Penal Code. However, it is actually misplaced, in the sense that it does not actually define a crime, because if a person commits all the elements of the act as provided under Article 247, he does not incur any criminal liability. Okay. So, anong ibig sabihin nitong Article 247 na ito? Okay. In the legal world, this refers to criminal conversation. Okay. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko. If the accused surprised his legal wife, or minor child in the act of sexual intercourse with another man, in his house, in his dwelling, and because of the outrage, he felt, napatay niya sila or nasaktan niya sila, he is exempt from criminal liability. This is in the nature of an absolutory cause. Ano ang absolutory cause? Absolutory causes are those circumstances which have the same effect as exempting circumstances. Naalala nyo, Criminal Law Book 1, justifying circumstances, exempting circumstances, mitigating alternative circumstances, correct? This absolutory causes has the same effect as an exempting circumstance. Meaning, an accused will be exempt from criminal liability but not on civil liability. Balik tayo sa Criminal Law 1. Ano ba ang example ng absolutory causes? Yung Article 6. Article 6 Revised Penal Code, yung spontaneous desistance. Diba? If before committing all the overt acts of execution, the accused desisted spontaneously, he incurs no criminal liability. Ano pa yung absolutory causes? Article 7, yung frustrated and attempted stages of light felonies, absolutory cause yun, wala ring criminal liability. What else? Yung marriage of the accused in a victim for rape, that is also an absolutory cause. Ano pa? Yung mga legal grounds for arbitrary detention. Ano pa? Yung avoidance of greater evil. Yung hindi ka mapoprosecute for damage to property if there is an avoidance of greater evil. Those are actually absolutory causes. In the same way that this Article 247 is considered as an absolutory cause. Let's discuss the elements of Article 247. Kapag present lahat nitong elements na to, then you apply Article 247 of the Revised Penal Code. Number 1, a legally married person or a parent, okay, surprises his spouse or his child. If it's the child should be under 18 years of age in the act of sexual intercourse with another person. Okay, that is the first element. Okay. A legally married person, okay, or a parent surprises his spouse or his child in the act of sexual intercourse with another person. Okay. So under element number 1, the marriage should be valid and subsisting. Okay? Hindi pwede yung live-in partner lang. Okay? And the child should be a minor living with the accused. Okay? Okay? And he surprises his wife or his husband or her husband in the act of sexual intercourse with another man. Or he surprises his minor daughter in the act of sexual intercourse with his seducer. Meaning, nagkagulatan. Okay? Number 2. Okay, element number 2. He or she, okay, meaning the accused, kills any or both of them or inflicts to any or both of them serious physical injuries, okay, in the act or immediately thereafter. Okay. Meaning, nagulat siya. Okay. Naabutan niya yung asawa niya na nakikipagtalik, okay, sa iba. And he inflicts or he kills, okay, both of them or any of them or inflicts serious physical injuries. Ang term ng batas ay serious physical injuries. If it is slight physical injuries, it is already exempted. Hindi nakasama. Wala na ka na talagang criminal liability, wala ka na talagang pag-uusapan. If it's slight physical injuries. So that is the second element. Okay. Third element, he has not facilitated or promoted the prostitution of his child, or that he has not consented to or permitted to the infidelity of his legal spouse. Meaning, hindi siya pumayag at hindi niya pinremote, okay, yung infidelity or yung panluloko ba? Okay. Pakikiapid, okay, pagkakaroon ng kabet ng kanyang asawa. Okay. Those are the 3 elements, okay, of Article 247. Okay. Note that number 1, okay, sabi ko nga, legally married, okay, hindi pwedeng live-in partner. Okay. Otherwise, okay, kapag hindi kayo legally married, this provision will only be a mitigating, okay, mitigating circumstance lang. Pwede mong i-apply, di ba? Naalala nyo, book 1, mitigating circumstance of passion or obfuscation. Okay. Ano pa ang importante? Okay. The sexual intercourse must be voluntary. Okay. Meaning, yung pakikipag-sex, okay, ng kanyang asawa sa iba ay voluntaryo, consensual on the part of his wife and the other man. Okay. Bakit? Because if it is involuntary, it will not be Article 247. Ang mag-apply dyan ay rape. And hindi Article 247 ang i-apply mo, kundi justifying circumstance, Article 11, okay, which is defense of relative. Tama? Tama? Okay. Balik nyo sa criminal law 1. I-connect nyo lang yan. Okay? Panoorin nyo yung ibang criminal law 1. Okay. So, ganun din kapag yung minor child niya. Dapat voluntary. Ang ibig sabihin, yung bata, voluntaryo niyang ginawa. May consent na makipagtalik sa iba. Okay. Otherwise, it will be rape, and the justifying circumstance is defense of relative. Okay, so gawa na naman tayo ng scenario ng Article 247. Okay, gawa tayo ng situation. Okay. Sino ba ang magandang ano? Okay. Si Manuel, asawa niya si Christine. Okay. Si Christine, na asawa ni Manuel, boyfriend niya si Jeremy. Okay. That is a scenario. Manuel is married to Christine. Christine fell in love with her BF Jeremy. Okay. Yes. Okay. Manuel is reviewing for the bar examinations and hence si Manuel ay nasa Manila. Okay. Si Christine ay naiwan sa Leyte, sa bahay nila sa Leyte. At dahil siya ay geographically single, naging boyfriend niya si Jeremy. Okay. Okay. Ngayon, one day, si Manuel, gusto niyang i-surprise ang kanyang asawa, si Christine. So, from Manila, nag-travel siya pauwi sa Leyte, sa bahay nila. Okay. So, surprise niya dapat si Christine. I'm home, asawa. Wife, mahal. Okay. Mahal, andito na ako sa bahay. Sabi niya. Okay. Walang sumasagot. Okay. So, umakyat siya. Pag-akyat niya, papunta na siya sa kwarto, nakita niya sa windows, okay, sa bintana, pagsilip niya gano'n, nakita niya si Christine at si Jeremy in the act of making love. Okay. Palitan natin. In the act of sexual intercourse. Okay. So, kasilip siyang gano'n. Saktan si Manuel. Okay, nasaktan siya. Dahil nasaktan siya, okay, nagulat siya. Okay, hindi siya nakaimik. Okay. Tapos si Jeremy, napansin niya na may tao. Okay. Nung napansin ni Jeremy na may tao, kinuha niya, okay, binuksan niya yung drawer, tumigil muna sila sa pag-sex, okay, at binuksan niya yung drawer, katabi ng bed, kinuha niya yung kanyang baril. Okay. Nung nakita ni Manuel na kinuha ni Jeremy yung baril niya, okay, sa bahay. Okay. Tumakbo si Manuel. Okay. Tumakbo siya, umalis siya ng bahay nila, tapos pumunta siya dun sa bahay ng kaibigan niya na sundalo. Okay. Yung kaibigan niya nakatira sa Tacloban. Okay. So, 6 p.m. niya inabutan yung asawa niya, si Christine, tsaka si Jeremy na nagtatalik sa bahay niya. Tumakbo pa siya. Siya pa yung tumakbo. Siya pa yung natakot, no? Siya pa yung kumuha ng baril sa bahay ng kaibigan niya na sundalo sa Tacloban. Dumating siya doon 7:30 p.m. Okay. Nung nakahiram na siya ng baril, bumalik siya. Okay, sa bahay nila. Okay, sa Leyte. Okay. Tapos, pagdating niya sa bahay, syempre, wala na doon si Christine tsaka si Jeremy. Okay, so, wala na siyang inabutan doon. Okay. Saan siya pumunta? Okay. Pumunta siya sa isang hangout. Okay, hangout nung asawa niya at ni Jeremy kung saan sila nagmamahjong. Okay. At lo and behold, andon si Christine at si Jeremy, naglalaro sila ng mahjong. Okay. And then and there, si Manuel, pinaputokan niya ng baril. Si Jeremy, patay. Okay. Kulang yung isang bala. Okay, so, papatok pa rin siya. Okay. Tinamaan si Christine and tinamaan din si Arnel. Okay. Si Arnel wala, nagmamahjong lang, bystander. Okay. So, namatay si Jeremy, yung kabet ni Christine, buti nga sa kanya. At si Christine, nagkaroon ng serious physical injuries. Bakit kaya ganun lang, no? Tapos, si Arnel, na bystander, na osyoso lang, nagkaroon din ng physical injuries. Serious physical injuries. Okay. Those are the facts of the case. Okay. Sundan ba natin lahat? Okay. So, si Manuel was charged with murder with double frustrated murder. Okay. So, yun yung kinaso. Sorry. Yun yung kinaso kay Manuel. Murder kasi namatay si Jeremy and double frustrated murder kasi natamaan si Christine at si Arnel na bystander. Manuel was then convicted of murder and double frustrated murder. Okay. He was convicted as charged. Okay. Kasi di ba yun yung charge sa kanya? Ngayon, the case was brought on appeal hanggang sa na-reach niya ang Supreme Court. Okay. In the Supreme Court, okay, the accused, okay, the lawyer of Manuel raised 3 issues. Okay. Number 1, Manuel should not have been guilty, okay, of murder and double frustrated murder. Instead, it should have been under Article 247. Okay. 247, under death and serious physical injuries under exceptional circumstances. Okay. Yun yung first issue. Okay. Number 2, sabi naman ng kabila, hindi yun pwedeng Article 247. Okay. Kasi di ba under Article 247, dapat element number 2, he or she kills the spouse, okay, immediately after, okay, discovering the act. Okay. Hindi na yun immediately thereafter. Kasi naabutan niya yung asawa niya. Naabutan niya si Christine tsaka si Jeremy na nagsisex 6 o'clock p.m. Tapos, napatay niya sila 7:30 p.m. kasi naghanap pa siya ng baril. Okay. So, yun yung second issue. Okay, second issue pala. Sorry, hindi marunong magbilang. Okay. The third issue is, sabi pa nung kabila, dapat talaga murder yon kasi may aggravating circumstance of treachery. Oh, hindi ko na i-discuss yung treachery. Okay, na-discuss na natin yan ng Criminal Law 1. Okay. And, okay, so those are the three issues that were raised, okay, before the Supreme Court. Okay, those were the three issues that were raised before the Supreme Court. Okay, so ano ang ruling ng korte? Okay, doon tayo sa first issue. Okay, sabi, di ba sa first issue, he should have been convicted under Article 247. Ang ruling ng court ganito. This is a real case. Okay. Yung kwento ni Manuel, ni Christine at Jeremy, this is a real case. This is People versus Abarca, if I'm not mistaken, and People versus Arake. Okay. I will put on the citations. Okay. Pero totoong kaso to. Ginawa ko lang na parang chismis para mas maintindihan natin. Okay. So, dun sa first issue, the Supreme Court ruled that Article 247 does not define a crime. Okay. It is actually a privilege, a defense available to the accused. Okay. Ang ibig sabihin, tama lang na kinasuhan si Manuel. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na may Article 247, hindi na siya ipaprosecute. Ipaprosecute pa rin siya. Okay? Meaning, kakasuhan pa rin talaga dapat si Manuel. Kasi yun ang proseso. Okay? Kakasuhan siya, okay, ng murder or parricide or frustrated murder as the case may be, but this Article 247 is available as a defense for him. Okay? This is a defense. This is not a crime. This is a matter of defense. Okay? Note, that the punishment, okay, for Article 247 is actually dischero. Okay. Ano ba yung dischero? This is banishment. Okay. Yun yung, you cannot enter, okay, within a 25-kilometer radius, okay, within a particular residence of the victim, correct? Itong banishment or dischero, this is actually not a punishment. This is actually a protection for the accused. Kasi pag mag-retaliate, okay, yung pamilya nung napatay niya, okay, that is actually a protection on the part of Manuel. Okay, anyway, okay, that is the ruling of the court on the first issue. Okay, as to the second issue, okay, whether or not Article 247 will apply, okay, dito naman, hindi immediately thereafter. According to the Supreme Court, okay, the facts are still covered by Article 247 regardless of the time element. Kahit daw may isang oras na lumipas doon sa pagkahuli niya, doon sa asawa niya, doon sa pagkapatay niya, pagkabaril niya doon sa dalawa. Okay. Article 247 as a defense still applies. For as long as walang break, there is no break, okay, on the events. And the state of mind of the person, the state of mind of Manuel, okay, is still there. Tama naman, di ba? Yung galit niya, that was still the result of having surprised his wife in the act of sexual intercourse with Jeremy. He just acted upon it. Those series of acts are still unbroken, which is still the result of the surprise he felt, the outrage he felt when he surprised his wife in the act of sexual intercourse with another man. So, okay lang yon. Hindi naman ibig daw sabihin na immediately, instantly. Okay? Hindi naman instantly. Okay? Basta unbroken chain of events. Okay? What else? Okay. As to the third, okay, issue, okay, i-consider ba natin yung treachery? Okay. Okay. Ang sabi ng Supreme Court, gaya nga kanina, it is not a crime. Okay, there's no murder, therefore, there is no treachery. Okay? Ngayon, I remember before, when we were discussing this provision of the law, my professor is Sir Prosecutor Sagsago. There was a question that was raised in our class. Okay. Sabi ni Prosecutor Sagsago noon, paano kung ang nangyari, hindi niya mismong nakita? Remember, ngayon di ba may mga sex videos na? Okay. Sabi ni Prosecutor Sagsago, okay, paano kung ikaw, Shay, sabi ni Prosecutor Sagsago, okay, you are my wife, and then you have a sex video, okay, and then habang kumakain ako, having lunch, napanood ko yung sex video, okay, sa phone ko, tapos katabi kita, tapos your sex video was with my friend, nakatabi rin natin kumakain, and then sinaksak ko kayo ng kutsilyo, ng bread knife, napatay ko kayong dalawa. Would this Article 247 of the Revised Penal Code still apply? Okay. Okay. What do you think? Okay. This is still no jurisprudential backings, okay? Kasi wala pang jurisprudence as to this matter, okay? But it was a question worth pondering upon, okay? And I remember there were two views, okay, two answers on this question. Okay. According to some, okay, you should apply Article 247 by analogy. Okay. Because the element is surprise. Okay. Regardless of you saw them caught, if you see them caught in the act yourself, or you see them in a sex video, the feeling is the same. Correct? The outrage for having chance upon the infidelity of your wife or husband, for that matter, is still the same. Pareho naman yung mafe-feel mo eh, 'di ba? Pag nakita mo siya sa video or nakita mo siya sa personal. Okay. 'Di ba? So that is the first view. Apply Article 247 by analogy. The second view is apply the doctrine of pro reo. Okay? Apply the doctrine of pro reo. Meaning, since it is not covered by the elements, then yung presumption of innocence of the accused, okay, since it is more favorable to the accused, do not apply it. Kasi ang nakalagay dito is okay, nakita. Okay. So, kapag may jurisprudence na tayo, we will update our answers, but it's worth, okay, pondering upon. That question. Okay, ano pa ba ang importante dito sa Article 247? Another question that was raised before, okay, is, does this provision apply, sabi nila, for same-sex marriages? Okay. Okay. If you're going to ask me, no, okay, it should not apply, because Article 247 talks about legal marriages. Okay? Legal marriages. Okay? And same-sex marriage is not yet, okay, valid. Okay, very careful tayo sa words natin. Okay, it's not yet valid, legal, within the Philippine jurisdiction. Okay. Element number 1, legal. Okay, legal spouse, legally married. Okay, so you will not apply this for same-sex marriages. But I also subscribe to the view that it could be a mitigating circumstance. Okay, pwede siyang mitigating. Okay, kasi incomplete, hindi siya complete absolutory cause. So pwede siyang mitigating circumstance siguro. It will be a matter of defense. Okay, what else? Okay. Okay. So, the liability of Manuel as far as Arnel is concerned. Si Arnel yung osesero lang, yung bystander na nabaril din. Okay. According to the case of People versus Abarca, there's no complex crime. Okay. So, Manuel will not be liable. Okay. As a general rule, he will not be liable for the injuries suffered by Arnel. Okay. However, if it will be proven that he did not exercise due diligence, okay, he can be criminally liable for reckless imprudence. Okay? Pwedeng mag-fall siya sa reckless imprudence resulting to physical injuries. Okay, so I think that is all for Article 247. Wala na ata akong nakalimutan. If you have questions, just PM me or contact your class beadles. Okay, next we will be tackling murder, parricide, homicide. Nga pala, there's no such thing as manslaughter. I always hear that. Manslaughter is not applicable in the Philippine jurisdiction. That is for common law jurisdiction. Hindi tayo common law. Okay? So, we will be tackling that. Yung murder. Okay, what else? Okay, basta crimes against persons. Rape. Okay, 266-A. Okay. So, for the next lectures, we will be discussing those provisions. So, I think that's it for today. Okay.